So, as I say, I'm not going to talk about other stuff which I was going to talk about because I want to get to these questions, which I think are very good questions. Barbara said that, oh, these look like good graduate school questions. I mean, they're that good. I really compliment you. And so what I'd like to do is call somebody and have them just read their question, and then I'll try and give some kind of answer, and hopefully we can get some two-way communication. So Neil and Huri Hajar, who are they?
Neil right here.
Neil and Hajar? Not here.
Doesn't seem to be here.
Okay. Neil, why don't you read your question?
Sure. Professor, I was very interested in your article on the woman in Cacoyannis' films. I really enjoyed viewing films by Cacoyannis this semester in our film class. What inspired you to write about the woman in his films?
Okay, there's a couple things. One, I consider myself a feminist. And by a feminist, I believe simply that women should have the same rights as men. And I believe in the 21st century we see a war against women across the globe. And so I always like to write about depictions of women. I would say, for instance, the 20th century is very much a race century, which color is very important. Color has not disappeared, but I think the attack on women's rights, or even the achievement of women's rights on a global scale, is very pertinent. And so I thought, gee, here's Michael Cacoyannis has been exploring these themes way back in the 50s. And maybe I shouldn't say this about Cacoyannis, I mean I shouldn't say it, but Cacoyannis is gay. And I think it's very important to know that he's just died. He's a very formal person, but out of the closet for a long time. The funny thing about Greece is, in Greece there's no official homosexuality except everybody knows about it, and many, many people are out of the closet, and Cacoyannis was one of them. And in film, in several cultures, we find that sometimes gay directors, male gay directors, seem to be have an ease with working with women. And many times, even in American film, you'll find that some of the directors who do well directing women turn out to be gay men. I don't know quite if that's valid or so forth. It's just a historical thing that one notices. But Cacoyannis loved working with women much more than he loved working with men. And so he had very close relationships with most of his stars. Wikipedia, which is not a scholarly source, in case any of you use it as a scholarly source, says he was in love with Elie Lambetti. Well, yes, but not the kind of romance that you think of, oh, I'm in love with you. He simply admired her greatly and had a very intimate relationship with her. And he had his relationship with Melina McCurry was more formal, but I'd say he loved her too. I had a brief association with Melina during the anti-junta era, and Cacoyannis is around at that time too. And you could see they had a very nice relationship with one another. He really respected her. I mean, somehow he was able to respect these women. But the one he worked most closely with is Irene Pappas. And I think to the degree that Irene Pappas is an outstanding actress, Cacoyannis had a lot to do with it. And Cacoyannis is a hands-on director. He tells you how he wants you to do it. So if you're an actor and you're in a scene from Cacoyannis and you do a scene, well, that was good. Now here's the way you should do it. In other words, he brings you back to the way he wants to do it. So he's a very controlling person. I think it's also interesting, I'm kind of looking forward to some of the other questions. He likes the Greek tragedies a lot. Cacoyannis himself is from Cyprus. He was in England during in the late 30s when the war began. He stayed in England. He worked for the BBC. He was in the Old Vic Theatre Company. He was an actor. He wanted to be an actor, and then he realized early on, I'm not that good an actor, but I'm a very good director. But very often, if you're a director who's had acting experience, then when you're directing, you have a better relationship with your actors. You understand the problems that the actors are going through. Kazan is the most famous of those people. So I don't know if that answers your question, but gets us rolling.